Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Prashtaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Priyan Keshavati Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so today's bhajan is Brajadhun, Choti Si Kishori. Someone always puts it up in the chat, but I hope you have access to it. Choti Si Kishori Mere Angana Mein Dole Re. Choti Si Kishori Mere Angana Mein Dole Re. पाँव में पायलिया भाने छन छमाझम डोले रे छोटी सी किशोरी में अंगना में डोले छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे. मैंने बस पूछी लाली कहा तेरो नाम रे. मैंने बस पूछी लाली कहा तेरो नाम रे. हंस हंस के बतावे वो तो राधा मेरो नाम रे. हंस हंस के बतावे वो तो राधा मेरो नाम रे. ओ छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे. छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे. मैंने बस पूछी लाले कांते ससुराल रे. मैंने बस पूछी लाली कौन तेरो ससुराल रे. शर्मा के बोले मुझसे जब क्रम ससुराल रे. शर्मा के बोले मुझसे जब क्रम ससुराल रे. छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे. ओ छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे. मैंने बस पूछी लाली कौन तेरो भरतार रे. मैंने बस पूछी लाली कौन तेरो भरतार रे. मुस्कुरा के बोले मुझसे श्याम मेरो भरतार रे. मुस्कुरा के बोले मुझसे श्याम मेरो भरतार रे. ओ छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे. छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे. मैंने बस पूछी लाली खाओगी का माखन. मैंने बस पूछी लाली खाओगी का माखन. आहा आहा बोले मेरे आगे पीछे डोले रे. आहा आहा बोले मेरे आगे पीछे डोले रे. ओ छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे अंगना में डोले रे छोटी सी किशोरी मेरी, अंगना में डोले रे। चंद्र सखी बजा बाल कृष्णा छवि, चंद्र सखी बाजा बाल कृष्णा छवि, सपने में आके मुझसे मीठी मीठी बोले रे, सपने में आके मुझसे मीठी मीठी बोले रे। छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे, अंगना में डोले रे, छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे, अंगना में डोले रे। पाँव में पायलिया भांगे, चमचमा झम बोले रे, पाँव में पायलिया भांगे, चमचमा झम बोले रे। छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे, अंगना में डोले रे, ओ छोटी सी किशोरी मेरे, अंगना में डोले रे। हे राधे जय राधे, हे राधे जय श्री राधे, हे राधे जय राधे, जय राधे जय श्री राधे, हे राधे 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 जय 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 श्री राधे, हे राधे राधे जय 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 श्री राधे, राधे 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 जय 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 श्री राधे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा, गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा, जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा, गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा, गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा, गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा, परंपरा गुरु परंपरा। निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल, निताय गौरा हरि बोल, निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल।
Go,
निताय गौ प्रेमानंद।
Premanandi, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Ganhapika Giridhari, Radha Binod Vihari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarastara Shishimat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarastara Shishimat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarastara Shishimat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Param Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarastara Shishimat, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarastara Shishimat, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhaum Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Varantara Charya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bharadasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaur Parsada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Anta Dvip, Mayapur, Simanta Dvip, Gautram Dvip, Madhya Dvip, Khora Dvip, Ritu Dvip, Jana Dvip, Modam Dvip, Rudra Dvip, Apatanavati, Dham Ki Jai. Madhuravan, Bandiravan, Belvan, Lohavan, Mahavan, Madhuvan, Talvan, Kamudvan, Bahulavan, Vrindavan, Kadyavan, Kamyavan, Brajamandal Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwarasavad Matmika Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai. Shamakund, Radha Kund, Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Purnamasi Devi Yogamaya Maharani Ki Jai. Vrinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Ganga Jamuna Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Gopishwa Mahadev Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai. Ketramandals Ki Jai. Sarva Vigna Vanasa Karishina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabha Sri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charidam Ki Jai. Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai. Chari Achari Ki Jai. Akara Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gauda Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Vancha Kalpa Tarupyascha, Kripa Sindhavevacha, Patitanam Bhavnivyo, Vaishnavivyo, Namo Namaha.
Dhanyavad pranams. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Radhika Didi, for that beautiful kirtan. A very short Mangalacharan from me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurube Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaye Radhikaya Priyatmani Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Iti Namini. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'd like to pay my unlimited Dhanyavad pranams onto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Siddhanti Maharaj, to the entire Rupanuga Guru Varga, to our assembled devotees, especially onto the lotus feet of our dear gurus present today, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikhanas Maharaj, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Ashrama Maharaj, and Sripad Bhaktivedanta Suddhadvati Maharaj. We're so honored to have all of you here today. Welcome everyone to day 27 of our virtual Zoom Parikrama. We have a beautiful Parikrama planned for today at the most auspicious Varsana Dham. And to start us off, we'll hand over to Sripad Tridandi Maharaj, who will do a little introduction for us today. Thank you, Maharaj.
Dhanyavad, Dhanyavad. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dhanyavad. Guruvaya Gaura Chandraya, Radhikaya Tidaliye, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya, Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So today we come to the most auspicious place of Varsana. And the first place we'll visit is Vrishabhanu Kund. And we appreciate the family of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. So yes, this is just some geography just to see where we are. So we've come from Giriraj Govardhan. And the other day we went via Dig and we went up the side, almost touching Rajasthan to Kamyavan. But today from Govardhan, we're going to go the central road directly to Varsana. We'll travel directly on this road. So this is the location. We're on the northern, western, mid-northern western section of the Braj Mandal. So practically we've covered most of our mandals so far. We're just going to go to Kokilvan and Javat in a couple of days, and then we'll cover the whole of the Braj Mandal. So now we've come into Varsana, and the first place we come to is Vrishabhanu Kund. So we should appreciate that Vrishabhanu Maharaj, his father is called Mahibhanu, and his brother is Ratnabhanu and Subhanu, and his sister is Banu Mudra. So they all have the name Banu. We talk about Vrishabhanu, Nandini. This is a name of Sri Radhika. So they all consider themselves to be non-different from the sun because they all have the word Banu, sun, in their names. Vrishabhanu means the sun in the month of April and May, which is the sign of Taurus or Vrisha, the bull. So Vrishabhanu, this is when he appeared, Vrishabhanu Maharaj. And Radhika also thinks herself to be the daughter of the sun god, just as Yamuna is the daughter of the sun god, who is known as Chandramsa, Nandini, or the daughter of the sun god in 108 names of Sri Radhika. So it's just helpful to appreciate and get the perspective on Sri Radhika's name, Vrishabhanu. So this is Vrishabhanu Kund, where Vrishabhanu Maharaj would come daily and take his morning bath. And it's in this place, in another kalpa, because we've already been to Raval. And in Raval, we talked about the appearance of Sri Radhika in the Jamuna on a 1,000-petal lotus. So now we're going to hear the same pastime, but in Vrishabhanu Kund, in a different kalpa, in a different age, in a different day of Lord Brahma. Radhika manifested here in Vrishabhanu Kund in a 1,000-petal lotus. So this is a very sacred place because of Vrishabhanu Maharaj bathing in here daily and because of the appearance of Sri Radhika in this place. This is called Vrishabhanu Kund. And as we enter the precincts of Varsana, on our right-hand side, we take this side road and we come to this Kund. Before we actually begin our Parikrama proper, so to speak, we take shelter here first of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, of petitioning him to allow us to have a successful Parikrama of his domain, his country. So we are under the guidance of Vrishabhanu Maharaj today. A couple of days ago, we were under the guidance of Nanda Baba and Mother Yashoda, but today it's Vrishabhanu Maharaj and Kirtida, where in their land, it's Radhika's land, which of course we're going to hear later, is represented by the 4 heads of Lord Brahma, Brahma Parvat. In Nandagaon, it was Nandishwara. So these 2 glorious personalities are very prominently present here. So now from this Vrishabhanu Kund, today we're going to be taken by Sripad Vaikhanas Maharaj along the Parikrama trail, which is about 4 miles total, and we'll go through Sankiri, and we'll go through Cikasauli, the village of Cikasauli, and then we'll wind around, we'll come into a large open area of Gahvaravana. And from Gahvaravana, we can look up and we can see Mor-kuti, and we can see Dana-garha, we can see Managarha, and we can see Vilasa-garha, these 4 famous places. And our dearmost Sripad Suddhadvati Maharaj is going to walk us through this section of the Parikrama. It's soaked and packed in glorious, rasik, sweet, sweet pastimes with Sri Radhika. So this is Gahvaravana. This is a secret place, and we have to come through a very secret passageway where physically only one person can actually go. The 2 mountains of Vishnu Parvat and Brahma Parvat, they meet, and there's a tiny passage, and you cannot, even at your greatest efforts, 2 of you can't walk through together. You can and it represents the mood of walking singularly into this glorious domain of rasa contemplation. You can't, it's a place, a solitary internal reflection about these pastimes. It's not we can't access this through our groups, so to speak. It's for our own meditation, ultimately. So we come into this Gahvaravana, and then we rise to the very top of Brahma Parvat, and when we come into the glorious temple of Sriji, and our dearmost Sripad Bhaktivedanta Ashrama Maharaj is going to describe the glories of Sriji. And then we're going to go down the other side of the Brahma Parvat, and we're going to come to the palace of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, where he actually resided. Sriji is the place of worship, but his place of living was at the bottom of the hill. And from there, we'll go to Pili-pokhara. If you're familiar with these places, you'll be seeing them as I'm speaking them. Otherwise, you can just get a picture somehow. And then from Pili-pokhara, we'll hear the pastime there. I'll be speaking that pastime. And then we'll go to Uchagaon, and we'll see Lalita Sakhi, and we'll see Dehakund, and we'll see Sakhigiri-parvata. And also just across behind is a beautiful Kadamba forest where we can describe anyway. And then on the way back, if we have time, we're going to stop in Surya-kunda. That's in a different location completely, but we'll try to get it. Many times on our actual Parikrama, we haven't had time to go to Surya-kunda because it's a bit distant right the way through the landscape, etc., through the bushes. But we'll try to get that. So now we're going to start off with Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikhanas Maharaj, who's going to take us to the very ecstatic place of Sankiri. So, Jonathan, I'm just describing that place for today. So back to you.
Thank you, Maharaj. I think you've beautifully introduced all the topics. So I'll hand directly over to Sripad Vaikhanas Maharaj. Maharaj.
There we go. If we could show the map, so people could get, there's a map in the Parikrama book, so people can get a visual of our little journey. Although it's a little confusing because, anyway, I can start. If you want to show the map, you can. So, Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshula-militanjena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravijanta Manupeta Apeta Krityam Dapayano Vedahaka Tada Ajuhava Putreti Tan Maitaya Tadavo Binedus Tam Sarvabhutam Hridayam Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Bhaktya Vihina Padada Lakshay Kiptastika Tarangamadye Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanada Vindam Tavevasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So beginning our Parikrama under the guidance of our beloved Gurus, we offer our most humble, grateful Dandavat Pranams to our beloved Diksha Guru Sri Nityalila Pavishta Om Vishnu Padasto Tarsat Sri Srimad Abhaya Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, and to our Shiksha Sannyas Guru Sri Nityalila Pavishta Om Vishnu Padasto Tarsat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and to our exalted Rupanuga Guru Varga, all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So now we're going on to a part of the Parikrama, which is beloved. When we go on this, we can't help but think of so many of our great acharyas who have gone on this and inspired, the descriptions of this remarkable Leela. And this map, it could be a little confusing because it shows us going from the top, Vrishabhanu Kund, down through this thing we call Sankiri. But when we're actually walking, the Vishnu Parvat is on our left and Brahma Parvat is on our right? When you're actually walking on it, because we're going like that away, and that's how it appears. And it's it's a wonderful place, even though it's quite near the town of Varsana. I mean, it's in it. This little section is, undeveloped except for the trees and the little temples and shrines and places that are on it. And it's a remarkable pastime here. So we come up to this area and we all kind of stop. And on the left is a small hill with a little shrine on top. And this is Vishnu-parvat, little manifestation of Lord Vishnu. And on the right, the larger hill that we're going to go up, and which the temples are on, is Brahma-parvat, Lord Brahma. And this was a place where gopas and gopis would assemble. During her younger days, before she was married, Srimati Radhika would live here in this Varsana. And then occasionally, when it was understood that the daughters could come back for a brief period, time to time, to be with their fathers and their mothers and their family. So the gopis would carry their milk here regularly, and just like Dana-garha, where the two hills are very close to each other, there was a narrow path. Now it's even more narrow. Anyone who's walked it realizes how narrow and challenging it is. One person at most can go in a line at a time, right? So the gopis would come here and they would have to walk through this place, and it was very confined, and it was here that Krishna and his friends would again come and demand tax, like a Dana-garha. There are many Dana-garhas where Krishna would confront the gopis and say, now you have to pay tax. I'm the king of this place, and whatever you carry, whatever you have to pay tax to me. Does he need their milk? Does he need their yogurt? Of course he doesn't. He doesn't need it any more than he needs the milk and yogurt of the elderly gopis, the friends of his mother, in whose houses he goes to steal. But what does he want to take from them? What does he want to taste when he steals this milk and butter and yogurt? He wants to taste their love, right? And the love of the cows also that provided the milk, and the love of the devotees that churned it into butter, and especially the love of the gopis who are carrying it, right? In Vrindavan, in this eternal realm, everything is a manifestation of prema. We heard that in the very beginning of the Parikrama. Every glance, every gesture, every movement is an expression of love, pure, exalted, high-class love. And this milk and butter is infused with that prema, right? So he would demand a tax, but it would also set up an opportunity for argument, conflict, quarrel, right? And this was so enjoyable by all of them. But at one point, the gopis became a little, what would you call it, upset, tired of Krishna's constant demands and stealing their milk and yogurt, so they devised a plan. Gopis are very, very clever. One thing about Madhurya Ras, generally when we read about the cowherd boys, they're very clever. They play games. They have games of, cops and robbers and fighting games, wrestling, all of this. But Sakya Ras is included in Madhurya Ras. And actually, the qualities of Sakya Ras are manifested in Madhurya Ras as a Sanchari Bhav, as are the qualities of Vatsalya. And so the gopis can have this mood and have this expertise in these pastimes as well. We know how Radhika sometimes even wrestles with Krishna directly, and without even having to touch him can defeat him, right? So the gopis made a plan, and you know how clever they are. Lalita, especially, the clever Lalita. So they said, let's set Krishna up. He hangs by this place every day waiting for us to come. So let's send a small group, a few of our Sakis, with the milk, and then he'll be caught off guard. And he'll come out very boldly with his friends, and he'll demand the tax. and we'll all be hidden in the hillsides, on both sides nearby, behind the bushes, in the little caves, everywhere. There'll be thousands of us. And when Krishna comes unsuspecting, we'll descend upon him and capture him and punish him as he deserves, right? So this is what happened. And then a few innocent looking girls come with their little milk and yogurt, carrying the pots on their heads. And Krishna boldly, with Madhu Mangal and a few others, steps out and again demands the tax. And there's a little argument, right, back and forth. And then they get the signal, right? They get the signal. And all the gopis come pouring down from the hill. And when we're there, you know, we're all standing and sitting all around these hills on the slopes. And of course, it was much bigger then, but you can really feel that and that atmosphere and imagine all these gopis coming down, ambushing Krishna from all sides. No escape, nowhere to go. And they capture Krishna. 5 or 10 gopis capture Krishna. They capture Madhu Mangal. They capture Subal, Arjun, Labanga, all these other sakas. They're all caught, trapped. And their hands are bound with flower ropes, and their sikas are tied to the branches of trees, and they're helpless. And the gopis are holding them by the arms and slapping Krishna's cheeks. There's a really nice little nice pastime with Madhu Mangal. Whenever he gets caught, he just completely surrenders, apologizes, says, "Oh, I'm just an unfortunate Brahmin boy. You know, I'm very simple. I'm always hungry, and I fell under the influence of this fickle Krishna." What does fickle mean? It means capricious, unpredictable, right? Doing this, doing that. And now look what he's done by his actions. He's gotten me into trouble. Oh, please let me go. I apologize. I'll never do this again. And then Radhika and the others will insult him, this stupid Brahmin boy. And and they sometimes even give him some sweets and send him on his way. But Krishna, he had to be taught another lesson. And so he's grabbed, and they remove his cowherd boy clothes and they dress him in a skirt and a choli and a top, right? And all the bangles, blouse, everything. And they even put vermilion, you know, the little red mark of a married girl in between his hair, bangles, armlets, and they put a veil over his face, and then they put a pot of yogurt on his head. And they're slapping him and insulting him, and Krishna's weeping, right? But he's enjoying it immensely. It looks like he's being unhappily punished, but he's enjoying this arrogance and this power of the gopis and their anger. Internally, he's enjoying it so much, but he's also weeping, right? And they're slapping him. And then he's standing there completely bound, held up, sika tied, veiled, dressed like a girl, mocked in every way. And then Lalita is on that hill on the left, on the top, and she's got a rock in her hand. And this is quite a few hundred yards. And she just throws it from that distance, a perfect strike. If you've ever seen in baseball or cricket, the fielders from a great distance, if they're very expert, they throw the ball perfectly and it goes to catch the runner before he can score, right? And so Lalita, perfectly, see, this is this Sakya Ras, these qualities coming out, throws this rock and it goes sailing through the air. Everyone sees it, and then smack right onto the pot that's on Krishna's head. And the yogurt goes all over him, down his face like an abhishek. It's an abhishek. And they all begin to laugh and clap. And Krishna's ashamed, but he's also happy. He's being bathed with this prem-filled yogurt, right? Filled with the love and this joyful pastime that the gopis are experiencing. And they say, "So, will you ever demand tax from us again? Hold your ears." And what you do in India, if you're very submissive and contrite, you hold your ears like this, right? And you go, "Oh," I'll never do again. I've seen Gurudev make people do that sometimes in the assembly. If people aren't listening or they're acting inappropriately, I've seen Gurudev make them stand up and hold their ears, right? And beg forgiveness. So Krishna had to do that. And he's submitting to the gopis. And he repeats it. So Krishna never stole from them again, right? Never demanded tax again. Of course he did. This pastime cannot be stopped. But for that one time, the gopis defeat him, right? And he enjoys it very much. He loves to be defeated. So then there's another pastime. As we're going through this place, we go through this very narrow place. You saw on the map, we passed different pastime places, but then we come to this place called Cikasauli. And it's on the other side of this Brahma Parvat, on the way up to Varsana, to the top of the hill in Varsana. And it's the birthplace of Chitrasakhi, one of Radhika's Ashtasakis. Right? And she has parents. Chatura is her husband. Her mother is Charchita. Chatura is the brother or cousin brother of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Right? And so there's a pastime with her, but I'm going to read real quickly this beautiful little writing I found on the net about her appearance day. It's one of the ISKCON websites, and it gives some very beautiful description of Chitrasakhi and her qualities and talents. And so she possesses the Abhisarika Nayaka Bhav, right? Abhisar means, the meeting with Krishna, arranging for meetings, etc., right? And she's a Nayaka, one of the 8 principal Sakhis, so she has a relationship with Krishna as a beloved, but she's also has a relationship with Radhika as a maidservant. So sometimes she will meet with Krishna in that sambhog to give Krishna pleasure, but she's more inclined and takes greater pleasure in arranging with Radhika to be with Krishna. But sometimes he'll go one way, sometimes the other way. But, they have affection for Krishna and Radhika, but more inclined with Radhika, which makes their role as Ashtasakis very beautiful. And so she has a saffron-like complexion, which is this kind of golden saffron, sometimes described as kumkum, but saffron is not quite as red, it's more golden red, right? And she wears a dress that resembles the color of crystal, shining, brilliant, right? Like diamonds, yeah. And she's skilled in all activities. All these Ashtasakis, they're skilled in all the arts, but sometimes special qualities are brought out. And one thing that's brought out, she's an artist, expert artist. Interestingly, in Krishna Lila in Dwarka, you have the first Chaturvyuha of Vasudev, Krishna, Sankarshan, Baladev, Pradumya, who appears as Krishna's son, and Aniruddha, who appears as his grandson. His consort, Usha, her very close friend, is Chitralekha, who is also a great artist. A beautiful pastime there. So she's a beautiful, perfect, excellent artist, also expert in writing. And she's very expert at expressing her heart's feelings with hints and signs. This is the language of prema. It's not just spoken, but by gesture, by glances, by facial movements, eyebrows lifting, right? Movement of the hands and the arms, bodily postures. She's expert. And she's also very expert in languages. Tungavidya also, right? She knows the languages of many countries. And this is interesting. She recognizes the qualities of different preparations made with honey and milk just by glancing at them. So she's also very expert at cooking, right? And she knows also, she's very expert in astrology and how to take care of animals and trees. very good talents to be in Vrindavan. Vrindavan, the land of cows, deer, birds, kalpavriksha trees. So to serve Radha and Krishna in their Leela, to be able to communicate and care and interact with these beautiful devotees in these different forms, right? And especially skilled in preparing sherbets and other drinks, right? So, in understanding all these talents, there's this beautiful pastime that one day Radhika, this is how it's related in the Parikrama book. The beautiful young daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, Srimati Radhika, they were all playing together with their girlfriends, right? And then Radhika heard this very beautiful, alluring sound of Krishna's flute in the distance. And she became so enchanted that she offered everything, her mind, her body, her heart, her complete existence, to whoever that person was playing that sweet flute, and became desirous to meet him. One of the qualities of this exalted prem is that day after day, that Radhika can experience the joy of meeting Krishna as if for the very first time. That we know that in loving pastimes in this world, there's nothing like the first meeting or the early meetings of boys and girls, right? The heart is beating, the hormones are churning. It's so exciting, right? This time. But after some time, those feelings fade and everything becomes very familiar and ordinary and repetitive and not so relishable. But in prem, that experience of the first meeting can come day after day, as if, and sometimes Radhika will see Krishna as if she'd never seen him before. This is the bewilderment of Yoga Maya, right? And it will give a kind of experience which we can't understand. But hearing that flute, who is this who's ever playing this flute? She dedicated her entire being to him and became so eager to meet him. And then Chitra Saki made a painting. And she was so expert, she made such a beautiful painting that Radhika saw this and said, oh, whoever that is, I'm dedicating my very being, my life, my love, my all in all, my everything I'm giving to this beautiful boy. She'd forgotten everything else. Even that flute player, she forgot completely. Whoever this astonishing, beautiful person is, it captivated her totally. How realistic this painting must be, right? Anything expressed by the hands of these eternal associates is perfect, right? And in this world, we worship deities, but a deity becomes authentic when it represents the realized vision in the heart of a pure devotee. That's what a deity is. And that form in the heart of the devotee agrees to enter that form that we might see as stone or brass or whatever, and that Ishtadev, that most beautiful form of worship of that pure devotee, becomes the deity, right? There's no longer, what we would perceive or consider anything worldly or material. So this painting of Chitrasaki, it's Krishna, and she becomes completely in love. At that time, now, Krishna and his Sakhas were in that area herding the cows, and then Radhika glances in that direction and sees, it's described, the supremely heart-stealing threefold bending form, Tribhanga Lalita of Krishna. And Radha could not control her feelings and offered herself to that handsome young man. And then they wander off. Now Radhika is incredibly restless, but she's regained her senses to some extent, and she begins to think, oh my goodness, and she speaks to Lalita, oh, I can't be alive any longer. Why not? Because I'm an unchaste woman, right? Any honorable woman would only dedicate herself to one person. You know my love, right? My love is Sham, right? But today I heard this flute playing. I became attracted to whoever that is. And then I saw this young man in Chitra's painting. And then I became completely spellbound in love with him. And then I saw this young man coming out to graze cows. My righteous conduct has been destroyed. What's the use of my remaining alive now? Because Radhika and her friends, they're completely dedicated to their one soul upapati. She doesn't even mention whether she's married yet or not, I don't know. But that doesn't even come into the equation. Her sole object of love is her upapati, beyond all patis, Krishna. But Radhika, when she hears this, understands the state of bewilderment of Radhika, begins laughing. Oh, bewildered one, there's no need for you to die. These three are not different people. They're one and the same person. The man playing the sweet flute is none other than your beloved, your Prananath, Sri Nandanandan Sri Krishna. He's also the one that Chitra Saki painted, and the one who you saw cow herding. You don't have to give up your life. So the bewilderment of prema, it's so beautiful. And this is one of the pastimes that we hear about in Varsana. So that's these two places in brief. So many more places to hear about and see. So we'll stop here, offering our pranams to Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Kartika and her associates, and ask our moderators to introduce our next speaker. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Maharaj. That was so beautiful. The way you described those leelas, absolutely beautiful. If I can just quote one thing that you said, every movement is an expression of love. And I think that just captures everything so beautifully. Okay, so we'll move on now to our next speaker, who is, I see, ready and present, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Suddhadvati Maharaj. Maharaj, the floor is yours.
Hare Krishna, so we heard such wonderful pastime from the mouth of Sripad Vaikhanas Maharaj. Now I am supposed to speak on other places. Now, one of them is Vilasa-garha. Actually, we never go to Vilasa-garha because it is on the hill on the west side of the Sankiri. No. So actually, we never go on that. We stay always on the Brahma Parvat. We go in between the two hills. Oh, Maharaj, eco. No. We go between the two hills, but on the left side, where sometimes we sit, you have groups sitting, and sometimes we say, oh, you're sitting on Vishnu's side, I'm sitting on Brahma's side. Oh, you're on Brahma's side, you're on the wrong side. Sometimes jokes are exchanged like that. So on that place, on that hill, is just indicating the place, but we never actually go up on that Vishnu hill. We go on the Brahma hill. So in Vilasa-garha, Srimati Radhika, when she was a child, she was playing with her sakis, in the dust, making castles like that. And there is one pastime mentioned that when they were playing together like that, Krishna arrived, just impromptu. And then he managed, or rather the demigods, by the arrangement, a big storm, dust storm came. And everyone's eyes were completely clouded by the dust. And Krishna took advantage to embrace Srimati Radhika at that place, Vilasa-garha. Vilas means the loving pastime. Chid Vilas, in the words of Srila Maharaj, a sweet play of the absolute. So that happened at Vayasandhi between childhood and adolescence, just at the junction. So this is something about Vilasa-garha. Like I said, we never went up there. Then, as we go through Cikasauli, the village of Cikasauli, after Sankiri, winding up in those small streets, then Gurudev would take us to the beautiful Krishna-kunda, which he described as a jewel of Gahvaravana, this forest. Gahvaravana means very dense, very thick, and you have all those thickets, all those groves. And Krishna-kunda is a place where Krishna with his friends would play. That kund is it's very fresh in my memory because I was just 5 days ago there. And it was full, so beautiful, clear water.
Maharaj, we seem to have lost sound.
It looks like his internet is frozen.
It is, and I see now he's on mute. Let me try and unmute him.
I've asked him twice to unmute.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Am I back on?
You back on, Maharaj.
All right. So from here at Krishna Kund, either you look at Mor-kuti up or you go up to Mor-kuti. And Mor-kuti is a very delicious place. I mean, this whole place is enchanting. This whole forest is so beautiful. So Gurudev sometime would take us there. So Mor-kuti, one time Radhika and Krishna, they were there playing on the hill. And when they came, all the peacocks and peahens started to dance. And when they saw their dancing, Radha and Krishna could not resist. They also wanted to dance. No, they didn't dance in an ordinary way. They took the form of peacocks. They turned themselves into peacocks. And they started to dance like that. So that place is called Mor-kuti. Mor is from Mayur, peacock. Very enchanting place. And from there you can look down to Krishna Kund and you have the vision everywhere around. So inside the temple, you have all those paintings, and through that window that we see, we can look down. You can see probably on the same level or maybe a little lower, you have Managarha, where we're going to go now. And otherwise, you see all the surroundings, all the forest of Gahvaravana. Very beautiful place, very intimate place. Maybe we can tell a story there that people are asking, why does Krishna has a peacock feather on his head? So one time Krishna and Radhika were wrestling. And Krishna doesn't like to lose, right? He's so tricky. So when Radhika was having the upper hand, Krishna escaped by transforming himself into a big black snake. So Radhika didn't renounce. Immediately she changed herself into a peacock who was a sworn enemy of the snake, and they started to fight. And again, she was defeating him, although he's a snake and peacock. And then Krishna switched back into his human form. But before that, he just took a peacock from her and put it on his head, acknowledging, actually, she has defeated me. And Gurudev would say that that peacock feather or crown with peacock feather is tilting to the left, because the left is the side of the heart, and Radhika is always on his left side, except in a few temples where we see Lalita, like in Lalita Kund, where we went yesterday, next to Namdegaon. So that's a little thing. Now, if we've gone up to Mor-kuti, we have an option. Either we go back the steps down, or either we just continue on. There is also a way through the rocks in a small pass, and we will reach Dana-garha. So if we go down the steps, then we come to Krishna Kund, that beautiful Kund that we just saw before. And we go through some very beautiful passage full of bougainvilleas, flowers, very, very beautiful and enchanting. And then a few meters further, there is a path leading on the left, going up to Managarha. Quite steep, actually, When we were walking there a few days ago, I realized what it means to be old. I mean, I'm 72, and I was saying, I had to catch my breath many times on the way. My students who were there much all younger, they were just going up and up. But I was just like, give me a moment to catch my breath. It's quite steep. Then we come to that beautiful area, very, very enchanting. Now they're building another temple, a big, big temple. So you could not have access too much to the deities because it was all. So these are the steps coming Managarha to the place, to the temple. And in that place, Srimati Radhika was waiting for Krishna. They had abhisar, they had an appointment. As Krishna was going on the way, as happened regularly, written by the most expert script writer, Vrinda Devi, she sent Padmasaki from the side of Chandravali, who came and started to describe to Krishna how Chandravali was in such state of separation. She was fearing for her life. And of course, Krishna is always reciprocating. He's like bound. Yayatamam prapadyante, he says in the Gita, as you surrender, I will reciprocate. So when Padma presented this proposal, Krishna could not refuse. So he went to Chandravali's place. Now, when we meet with friends, it may just be a few words, when you meet with a Saki who's been waiting for you for so long, it's not just a few minutes affair. You receive welcome and food bathing, and then they offer you so many delicacies that they prepare with so much love. Like Vaikhanas Maharaj was speaking before, Gurudev would say that the prem of the gopi is, we say Krishna wants to steal the butter, and Gurudev was making the pun in Hindi. Butter is makan. But Gurudev would say makam, what is not kam, lust, that is prem. So actually he's not stealing their butter, he's stealing their non-lust, which means their prem. That's why he's so eager to do that. And the gopis, although they will complain to Mother Yashoda, actually they pray, when that little restless son of Nanda will come to my house and steal the butter I have prepared for him with so much love. They complain just for the form, just to share with Yashoda, because Krishna usually, except during this month where he stole the butter, he doesn't steal butter in his own house. So they want to share the fun and all the excitation of Krishna coming to steal in their house. So they go to complain, hey, Yashoda, don't you know what your mischievous boy has done again today in my house? So they prepared all those nice delicacies. And then, so they offer to Krishna, and then Chandravali, she starts to dance. The whole thing starts to take proportions, and Krishna was not thinking of that. Meanwhile, Radhika is becoming more and more in anxiety. And her anxiety starts to turn into man, jealous anger. What is this black fellow doing? Again, cheating me. And then finally, Krishna comes. I'm a little late, excuse me. I know we were supposed to meet at that time, but I'm so tired. I was taking care of the cows all day. So I thought, it's not good to come to a lady tired like that. What if I fall asleep in her presence? This is not befitting. So I just saw a little patch of grass on the way, and I thought, I'll just lay down there a few minutes, take a little rest, and I'll go and see you. But I fell asleep, and I'm sorry, I'm coming now. I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. And Radhika should just turn it away and become real deep in man. And Krishna tries so many ways to placate her with sweet words, cajoling, and oh, you're so dear to me. He makes sometimes the mistakes to say, Chandra, and he wants to say Chandramukhi. Oh, your face is like the moon. And Radhika becomes even more, oh, Chandra, go back to her. You were so nice with her. And she said, but Radhe, I meant to say your face is like the moon, Chandramukhi. No, you said Chandra, you were thinking still of a Chandravali. Go back there. And Krishna, despite all his efforts, cannot break her man. So he's going away completely sad. Imagine, Radhika, she's the epitome of love. Right? The essence of Prem is Bhav, the essence of Bhav is Mahabhav, and she's Mahabhav Svarupini. It's the very personification of the highest possible manifestation of love. Srila Maharaj says in very strange words, Krishna is extracting, squeezing from her the maximum ras. She's a source of more ras than anyone, all the gopis combined. That's her speciality. She can, display the moods of all the other gopis together. That is her particular speciality. Svasamvedya, it is called. She has that quality. So Krishna, so much in anxiety, is going away, not knowing what to do. Then, by good fortune, he meets Vishaka. Lalita, she's very bold. She's this kind of pragalba, very bold. And Vishaka, she's much more mridu, much more gentle. So she pacifies Krishna and said, you know, I have a way you could do, get back to Radhika. You just come back, disguise as a girl, and I'll give you one beautiful veena that you can play. So Krishna happily, full of anxiety, accepts. So she dresses him like a beautiful girl, and then she brings him back to Radhika and says, oh, this is my Saki, newly coming. And what is her name? Oh, she's called Shyama Saki. Imagine Krishna, but as a girl, most enchanting. And then he starts to play a few notes on his veena, and he's playing in such an amazing way. Imagine he's playing his heart, right? Like a gentleman playing serenade for his beloved in this world. Krishna starts to play like beautiful serenade for Radhika. And then she's overwhelmed. And then she comes, she opens her arms. Krishna puts down the veena, and she comes and embraces him. And sits her, come sit next to me. And of course, as soon as she touches Krishna's body, she realizes, oh, this is my Priyatam, this is my most beloved. And all her mind just evaporates. And the Sakis clap around them, and they engage in beautiful vilas, love plays, like the amorous pastime. So this is Managarha, very enchanting place. So it's worth going up the steps because the place there is very, very nice. Now, again, you have the choice. Either you go down those steps, or from there, there's also a path, like from Mor-kuti, to join the main path going up the hill. So as we're going up that hill, you can see all around. You can see Mor-kuti, you can see Vilasa-garha, you can see Jaipuri Mandir, you can see all the country up to the hills where Tridandi Maharaj will take us, Uchagaon and Sakhigiri-parvata, which is full of footprints of the gopis and gopas playing on the hill there. You can see all around. It's very beautiful, very quiet. There's no one, just a few monkeys. Very, very sweet place. And then we're going up, we're winding up. It becomes a little rough, it becomes a little steep. And then right on the right side, there is this beautiful place called Dana-garha. And in Dana-garha, there is also very beautiful pastime there. Different pastimes are evoked. One of them is similar to the pastime that Vaikhanas Maharaj was so beautifully described. Krishna taxing the gopis for their milk products, and the gopis protesting. But what you talking about that you want to tax us for our milk products? Every day we come to this place. And Krishna says, yes, my king, the great king Cupid, Kamadev, has told me some girls are doing contraband here every day. And he told me to catch them, and if they resist, confiscate the goods and levy a heavy tax. And a little similar to Dan-gati at the beginning of Govardhan, Krishna starts to ask tax from them and saying, okay, just put down your milk products, put down your pots, fill the form, and calculate the tax and just pay the tax according to what you're carrying. And Krishna is always like in a flirtatious mood, like with some innuendos and saying, okay, you put down all the pots. Why don't you put the pots that you're hiding under your veil? Means their breast. Then they become shy and they giggle like that. And the very sweet pastime comes. And like in Dan-gati, Krishna starts to say to Radhika, I think you're the chief of the gang of the contrabandists. So you'll have to pay a special tax for every beautiful part of your body. And he starts to describe Radhika's beauty and asking a special tax for every part of her body. For your beautiful eyes like sapphire, 100 sapphires. For your forehead, which is like a golden slab, 10 tolas of gold. For your teeth, like little pearls, not less than 50 rows of pearls, and then so on and so on. For your nose, which is like beautiful like a parrot, so many, you have to pay so much, emeralds. For your conch shell, neck like a conch shell, so many conch shells. And he's asking Madhumangal to keep track, Madhumangal, you noting down like this? Like this, it's a similar pastime, then that's why it's called Dan, tax. But there, Krishna is not subjected to the lesson taught in the Shankari court below by the Sakis. And then they just end up giggling and laughing. So this is a pastime there. The other pastime, because when you go there, you notice besides the most beautiful deity of Dhanbi Hari, with enchanting small deity, but his eyes in Radhika, they're so sweet. I don't know if you have any deity of them. Yes, oh, I really love to go there because that deity's face is so beautiful, so charming. Krishna, like innocent boys with dancing eyes. And just opposite the little temple, there's this big, two pillars joined by a beam, and it's actually a scale. Because one story is also told there. I remember Srila Gurudev would tell the story that once when Krishna was there, one poor Brahmin approached him. The same story that you hear usually at Dan Deha Kun, give me kun, in the Uchagaon. So the Brahmin approached Krishna and said, "Oh, I have a daughter to marry, but I'm very poor. So you please help me, give me something to help fund my marriage for my daughter." And Krishna was with Radhika, and Krishna considered Radhika his supreme wealth. And Krishna, without thinking twice, Brahmin is asking, Krishna is Brahmanya Dev, the Lord of the Brahmins. Go Brahmana Idayachai is always protecting the Brahmins. When the Brahmin asked him for wealth, Krishna did not hesitate. He said, "This is my more precious wealth." And he presented Srimati Radhika to him. And the Brahmin said, "Are, I'm asking you some money to marry one daughter. You give me another one. Now I'll have to marry two. No, I want gold." So Krishna says, "Oh, okay, no problem." And what did he do? Immediately, Vrinda, guessing his mind, manifested this beautiful swing, or scale rather, with two sides. So Radhika sat on one side, and Krishna started to pile up gold on the other side until the gold was equal to the weight of Radhika. Then the Brahmin took that wealth away. And Gurudev would say, Radhika is Mahalakshmi. She's the source of all wealth in the three worlds and beyond. But this Brahmin just wanted gold. It was very unfortunate. He approached Krishna. Krishna gave him Radhika, the source of all wealth, but he declined. He didn't want it. So he was actually cheated. So this is the pastime happening there. Very beautiful place. There's also Rasa Mandal, because Krishna also danced with the gopis at that place. Very quiet place. And then when we leave that, we go down a little slope and we come to this very impressive structure, very large, which is Jaipuri Mandir. The temple built by the king of Jaipur, therefore it's called Jaipuri Mandir. Now, unfortunately, they built a ramp, so cars can come up from the village of Varsana all the way up, and it's packed with cars, and you have to wind your way between the cars to go to the temple. It's quite disturbing. Before that was never like that. I guess all the Delhi has come with so much money, so they made this ramp up, but it's disturbed so much the place. It's not like it was before. No, it's like just rows of shop all the way to Sriji Mandir. So that Jaipuri Mandir is, it is manned it is taken care of the puja by Nimbarka Sampradaya, and they have a very strange altar. They have two altars, or three altars actually. And in the central altar you have Radha Krishna. On the left you have also some Radha Krishna, and in the left side you have very unusual deities. You have Amsa Avatar, the Swan Avatar, Amsa Avatar. You have the four Kumaras. You have Narada Muni, and you have Nimbaditya Acharya there. You never see this kind of altar. Narada, the four Kumaras, Amsa Avatar. Amsa means when Mahaprabhu comes only one time in the day of Brahma. So the other Kali Yugas, the Yuga Dharma is the same, Nam Sankirtan, but it's not Mahaprabhu who comes. Sometimes Amsa comes, or some empowered Jiva. So Amsa Avatar is one of those avatars who come to give the Yuga Dharma in other Kali Yuga than our Kali Yuga, which is blessed Kali Yuga because Mahaprabhu came. Danya Kali. That's why all the acharyas praise this Kali Yuga. Even in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned. Kalir doshani de rajane kopyasti maham guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha paramraja. Yes, king, you're right. This Kali Yuga is an ocean of defects, but it has a very amazing quality. Maham guna, very great quality. What is that? Kirtana Deva Krishnasya, just by chanting Krishna's name, Mukta Sangha Param, Raja, you would achieve the highest form of mukti. What is that? Mukti Vatanata Rupa Swarupana Vivastiti. You will be reinstated in your original position of eternal servant of Krishna. So that is Jaipuri Mandir. From there we wind through what used to be just bushes and a small path. Now it's just, like I said, a row of shops, and beggars and sellers of all kinds of things. We go all the way to the beautiful Sriji Mandir. Then we will hear the glories of that place from Sripad Ashrama. Vanchakalpatarudyascha kripasimdubhyayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Maharaj. Beautifully brought us to Sriji temple. Thank you so much. Now we hand over to Sripad Bhaktivedanta Ashram Maharaj. Maharaj. You on mute, Maharaj.
I'm on Tridandi Maharaj's phone.
Right, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Guruve Gorachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tat Bhaktaya Namo. So now, after going through, Manga, Dana-garha, so many places, we come, Mor-kuti, we come to the top of the hill, where you have Lala and Lali, Sriji Mandir. I'm remembering coming up here with thousands of devotees, Krishnadas Prabhu leading kirtan, Gurudev in the front, and Krishnadas, his voice very, very sweet, very, very sweet. Radhe, Radhe, thousand devotees, Radhe, 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 thousands of devotees singing. Radhe, 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 Radhe. And in the midst of all these devotees, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj, very, very sweet, just standing, sometimes sitting, and just orchestrating everything with just his glances. So this temple, it's explained that this is the palace of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. But Gurudev has explained more precisely that the palace is actually down a little bit. We'll go there afterwards, where Srimati Radharani actually lived. But up top is her playground. And if on a clear day from Varsana, then Nanda-garha mountain can also be seen. And Radharani would be in Varsana, Krishna in Nanda-garha, and they would send messages to each other. Pujapad Vaikhanas Maharaj has already explained that even when Radharani has gone to Yavat, that sometimes she would go home to be with her father, mother, family, and there in Varsana, then there would be so many arrangements between Radha and Krishna to meet in this area of this hill, that Lord Brahma, that he has offered prayers to be able to serve Srimati Radharani and manifest as this hill. So first, I'd like to just present a little bit of the ontological truth of Srimati Radharani, some Radha Tattva. That who is Srimati Radharani? From there, then we'll speak of the glories of Varsana, which is manifest from Srimad Atman. That Radha Krishna Pranay Vrikriti Ladini Shakti Asmat Ekat Manavapi Bhuvi Param Diham Bedam Gatoto. That who is Radha? That she is manifest, eternally manifest from Krishna. That Radha Krishna Pranay. That Krishna is Raso Vaisaha. He's the ocean of Ras. He's the ocean of all mellows. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. But most importantly is that he is also the source of prema. And that prema, it has two aspects, murt and amurt. It has a form, murt, and it has that aspect without a form. So Radha Krishna Pranay, that aspect of amurt without a form is called pranay. This is the love of Krishna. And Radha Krishna Pranay Vrikriti, that when that pranay manifests, it transforms, then it transforms as Ladini Shakti. Ekak manavapi bhuvi puram deham bedam gatoto. That Radha, that Gurudev explained that Krishna, he's in Vamsivat, and he's desiring Vilas. And then from his left side manifests a Kishori, an exquisitely beautiful young girl. And she, with great love, Anurag, she's running, Davati, and she's calling Krishna, 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 that this is Radha. That she is that manifestation of Ladini Shakti that takes a form, and she's personified as Srimati Radharani. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he goes on to explain Ladini Sa Prem, Prem Sa Bhav, Bhavira Paramakasta Nam Mahabhav. That this Ladini Shakti, which is the Amut form of Radha, Ladini Sa Prem, its essence is Prem, Prem Bhakti. But Prem, it has its further development. Sneha, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav. And here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that these different moods are just different moods of Srimati Radharani's love, affection, and attachment to Sri Krishna. And Paramakasta, the highest level, is Mahabhav. That this Mahabhav here is referring to Madanakya Mahabhav. That Srimati Radhika, she is a personification of Mahabhav. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami goes on to say, Mahabhasarup, Shri Radha Thakurani, Savaguna Kani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. That Madanakya Mahabhav, it has a form. And what is that form? That form is form of Lali, Srimati Radhika. Mahabhasarup Shri Radha Thakurani. Savagun Kani Krishna, that her body, her mind, her intellect, every atom of her body is completely surcharged to the highest degree on how to give pleasure to Krishna. She's a mind of fulfilling the desires of Krishna. That even when Krishna does not even know his own desire, that Srimati Radharani, that she is fulfilling those desires. They have not even manifested yet from Krishna. That she knows him better than he knows himself. That she is Kanta Shiromani. That of all the lovers of Krishna, that she is the crest jewel. So in Ujjwala Nilamani, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, he's explained, Saba Baba Gubo Lasi Madnayam Parat Paraha. Rajate Ladini Saro Radayam Evayat Sada. That Sava Bhav, that all the different moods of love, that when they come to that point of ulas, the highest joy, the highest ecstasy, that this is Madan. And that this Madan stage, Rajate Ladini Saro, that it is the essence to the highest degree of that Ladini Shakti. And it is always within Srimati Radhika, and Srimati Radhika is always the embodiment of that. So Srimati Radhika, to give pleasure to Krishna, then she is manifest Sri Varsana. That it's explained by Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata. Sava Lakshmi Mai Sava Kanti Samohini Para. That Devi also means the place, the abode. That Srimati Radhika, that she is the abode of the highest love. And she has manifest for Krishna's pastimes, for his pleasure. She has manifest Sri Varsana. That this is her eternal place. That even when she leaves and she goes to Yavat, that always she comes back to Sri Varsana. Sri Prabodhananda Sarasvati Thakur, in describing its glories, he says, Hari Bhaktis Rasindu Mantadiva, Mantadiva Sarmutaktam Kamapi Ashroy, Paramodaram Sakalasaram Vihaya Radhikaramam. That, oh brothers and sisters, he says, that renounce all other places, give them up. He said, you should just take exclusive refuge in that garden, which is at the top of that Brahma Pavat. You should take exclusive shelter there. It is the essence of the sweetest nectar, and it is turned from the nectar of Shamras. That here, Srimati Radharani is manifesting this playground to give pleasure in so many ways to Sham Sundar. Devotees have already described some beautiful pastimes which have taken place after 15 minutes. So, Gurudev, he's explaining, I was just looking at a class where he was speaking in Varsana, and he was saying that Radharani, that sometimes she's coming there, even though she's married in Yavat, and Krishna, he's coming to meet with Srimati Radhika, but because of the obstacles, then he has to take so many different disguises. Says sometimes he comes as a barber lady. Another time he comes as Mohini. Another time he comes as
Lady selling flower garland.
a lady selling flower garland.
Lady selling altar.
A lady selling altar.
No, red lap.
So many different disguises. So one time, Gurudev explained, Srila Maharaj, that Srimati Radhika, that she had near Hetuman. There's Hetuman and near Hetuman. Hetuman means man with a cause. But more strong, more difficult to give up is near Hetuman, man without a cause. So Krishna, he's trying his best to break the man of Srimati Radhika, but he would not give up. And by Srimati Radhika's side, encouraging her to maintain this man is who? Lalita Sakhi. Gurudev said that Lalita Sakhi, she has a stick. And then he quoted one verse in Hindi. We miss a lot not knowing Hindi, actually. We miss so much. So much. So she has her stick. And with this stick, she's Krishna, he will not come close. Not only Krishna will not come so close, but the Sakhis, they will not dare interfere. That they may start to feel, because they have different moods and they're getting soft and they want to help Krishna. But with Lalita there, then they don't come close. They just stay away. So Krishna's thinking, what will I do? He says that I'll take shelter of one special branch. Who's that special branch? Vishaka. Visheshaka. So then he goes and he begs to Vishaka. Vishaka, her heart melts. She said, okay, I'll help you. So then Gurudev said that she instructed Krishna, you come back tomorrow, but you watch out for Lalita. So then Krishna comes, and now he comes as Shamla Saki. And then this time, Shamla Saki is bringing garlands. And Shamla Saki is telling the other Sakis that I have this garland, that anybody who touches it, what to speak of wearing it, if you just touch this garland, that all your distress, all your misery, all your worries, they'll fly away like birds in the sky. Srimati Radhika, she is suffering because man has completely enveloped her. But in the core of her heart, she wants to meet with Krishna. But the man has controlled her so much that she cannot give in to the man. And even if she was to give in to the man, Lalita's right next to her. So she has no option. So she's crying. She tells the Sakis that I don't want to see anything black, that cheetah, that you cover my hair, I don't want to see it. You cover my eyebrows, you put chandan, you cover. The bird cage, which is black, you cover. That any black fellow, I don't want to see. I don't want to be reminded of him. All those black bees. The black bees, you kick. I want nothing to remind me. In another pastime, one time she goes outside and she sees the cloud and she runs inside. She has Udguna. And she's saying, I don't want to see this cloud. I don't want to see this cloud. And she's crying and crying and crying. But let me not go that way. So then Shamla Saki comes, and she comes and she sees Vishaka Saki. And then they go and they bypass Lalita Saki. And Vishaka Saki tells Srimati Radhika that, oh Radhe, that there's this Shamla Saki, and she makes very, very beautiful garlands that whoever, not what to speak of wearing the garland, if you just touch this garland, that all your sorrow will fly away. That I think you should try this. And then this Shamla Saki starts to give the garland to Srimati Radhika. And Srimati Radhika, just touching the garland, then immediately understands that, oh, that this is not just Shamla Saki, this is Sham. And then immediately she says, oh, this garland is so nice. All my problems have gone. I'm so happy. I want to repay you. And to repay you, I think that I have to take my own clothes and ornaments, and I want to personally dress you in the most beautiful way. And then she calls Lalita. And then Lalita Saki, she understands. So yes, we'll dress. And then from this, then very, very beautiful pastimes. Then they manifest. So I just want to quote this verse. My time, I've got 5 minutes.
No, it's okay.
Huh? Actually, have you heard this pastime before? You heard it before? So finish. Because no, this time he stopped. And then he went on to something else. He finished it in Hindi and I couldn't hear. But I thought that, I think I've heard this pastime before, that then Radharani, then they take this Shamla Saki and then they take him into a kunj and then pastimes. But what do you know?
What I heard is that at that time, Krishna is Shamsaki is like very shy. No. And then Lalita said, come on, we're all girls here, there's no problem. And then they don't want, Krishna doesn't want, so they all jump on him with glances, messages, okay, let's catch him. They catch him, they take off his clothes, the 2 mangoes that he put instead of breast fall on the ground, and they all giggling and
laughing.
My
God.
And then they say,
That's from Chamat. No, that's Chamatkara Chandrika. That's in Java, that's a different pastime.
What's a different pastime? Yeah. It's a good one though.
That's when he comes as a singer.
Okay.
That's when he comes as a singer and charms everybody.
Yeah,
All he wants is her embrace.
when I was listening today, Gurudev didn't finish. So that's why I didn't go any further.
Many times he spoke that pastime very, very beautifully. Yeah. Sometimes he said Krishna put kadamba flowers like this. Made the gesture. Like the Sakis would laugh so much. The Krishna's blues would fall off, and then those flowers would fall off the ground. They were all like fun of him. They were laughing. And then the Managarha would break, and they would laugh.
Yeah. So then, this class that I was just listening to today, then Gurudev was there, Sriji Mandir, and he quoted the verse, Anaradya Radha Padam Bojarenu, Anashritya Vrinda Tadvim Tat Padankam, Asambasya Tat Bhava Gambira Chitam, Kutasyam Sindhu Rasas Yavagaha. That how can a person be immersed in Shamras or Madhuras, the loving relationships between Radha and Krishna? How can one be immersed if he has never worshipped the dust of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet? How can he be immersed in Shamras if he's never taken shelter of her pastime places like Sri Varsana Dham, which is marked with the impressions of the lotus feet? And how can he be immersed in Shamras if he's never associated and served devotees whose hearts are submerged in her profound sentiments, that without taking shelter of such devotees, that it will never be possible? So Gurudev, he used to quote often this verse, Yap kinkarishu bahusha kaluka kubani, nityam parasya purushasya shikanda mole, tasya kada rasanide rishabhanu jayas, tatke likunja bhavananga namaj anisyam. That, O Srimati Radhika, O daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, O ocean of Ras, Sri Krishna, the supreme enjoyer, the source of all avatars, who wears a peacock feather in his hair, that he falls at the feet of your maidservants, and he's crying to them with many humble and grief-stricken words to be allowed entrance into your kunj, where both of you who engage in playful and amorous pastimes. If only I could become one stick in the broom used by your sakis to clean your delightful kunj, I would consider my life a success. Gurudev would say that Krishna, again, he's trying to enter into the kunja of Srimati Radhika, and Srimati Radhika is in Man, and Rup Manjari and other Manjaris are standing outside, and they're watching. And now Krishna, he comes, and he's begging them. The Manjaris are very junior. They're young girls. They're very junior to the Sakis. But though they're so small, young girls, the Manjaris, they're so strong that, hey, no admittance, you cannot come. So Srila Gurudev, he will quote this verse, crying that when will that day come? When I can be but a stick, means some insignificant person to entering into your pastimes to render service. That the mood of the Manjaris is kinkari, that they're always serving, and that their service mood is so intimate to Srimati Radhika, that even though they're junior to Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata, Chitrasaki, Sudevi, Rangadevi, and those Sakis, all of them, they have their villages all around this mountain of Varsana. That even though they're junior, but because of their intimacy with Srimati Radhika, that their position is the highest position that can be achieved. So Gurudev would bring us to Sriji Mandir, and afterwards we will go down to either Modi Ashram in Varsana or some other site where we're staying, and there he would put into our hearts this Radha Dasyam, Radha Tattva, and give us the desire. Even though we have no qualification, he would give the desire that we should aspire for only one thing, Palya Dasiba. So we come to Sri Varsana Dham under the guidance of Bhaktivedanta, Sri Narayan Maharaj, and our Guru Bhaga, and we pray for their mercy. Thank you,
Maharaj. That was beautiful. Such beautiful.
I'll see you in South Africa soon.
I was just going to say, can I please ask, please, can you come back to South Africa?
I'm coming after a few months. Just
wonderful, wonderful. Can't wait. Thank you, Maharaj. And now back to Sripad Tridandi Maharaj, who's going to take us to Pili-pokhara and Uchagaon, amongst some other more beautiful places. Thank you, Maharaj.
Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tada Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo. Thank you so much, Bhaktivedanta Ashrama Maharaj. That was splendid. Totally wonderful. Nectar. Drops. Drops. Not buckets, but drops. We could have had buckets, but we didn't have enough time. So we just got drops, not buckets. But very, very nice. Thank you, Maharaj. So from Sriji, we're going to go down the other side, from Sakhigiri-parvata, from Vishnu Parvat and Brahma Parvat. We're coming down to the bottom now. And there is the traditional palace where Vrishabhanu Nandini would actually stay with Kirtida, Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and Sridham, and Ananga Manjari. But in the temple that's there that we see, it's a very small, almost insignificant temple, but Gurudev would regularly take us there. And we'd see Kirtida, we'd see Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and we'd see Sridham Sakha. And we'd see Radharani in that place. So this is where they actually lived, and the place of worship today is where we've just been. We've got Ashrama Maharaj just described on the, and we just heard that. So then opposite here is the Astasakhi temple, and we can go in there and we can see the Astasakhi. It's very simple, very beautiful arrangement, but there's a presence of them there, and we can appreciate their living in this divine abode right here. So we worship them and we honor them, we remember them. And then from here, we follow the village road and we come out to a crossroads, and just on the other side, we come to Pili-pokhara. So we'll see Pili-pokhara in a minute on the screen. This is very sweet pastime. In Braj, Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, has so much affection for Sri Radhika. And Kirtida has so much affection for Krishna. Just leave this picture as it is. No. So much affection for Krishna. And all the Brijvasis all the time are thinking, actually, Radha and Krishna should be married. They're always hoping that this will actually happen. This is their hope and aspiration. So one day, Sri Radhika, she's in the kitchen, cooking in Yashoda Ma's kitchen, cooking for Krishna. This is before she's married and living in Javat. This is when she's coming across from Varsana to Nandagaon to cook for Krishna. Mother Yashoda already knows the boon that she's received from Durvasa, that anything she tastes will give great strength and taste like nectar and increase the longevity of that person who takes it. So Radhika is there very expertly cooking in Mother Yashoda's kitchen. Then all of a sudden, Mother Yashoda seemingly absent-mindedly picks up some haldi paste, some turmeric paste that's in a bowl, and she smears it on Sri Radhika's hands. And Sri Radhika looks astonished. Oh, Ma, what have you done? This signifies engagement. This is what it signifies. And she feels very shy and embarrassed. And then she decides, I have to go back now. And she tells Mother Yashoda, now I have to leave, I have to go. So she actually just wants to wash this off. So she leaves Nanda's palace and she starts to come back to her home in Varsana. And then she doesn't want to go into the village of Varsana with this haldi paste all over her hands. It's very, it's sticky, it's there. She has to wash her hands. So she comes to this kund that we're looking at now, and she washes the haldi paste off her hands in this kund. And the whole kund goes yellow. You've got another picture with Pili-pokhara? Whole kund goes yellow. And there's little children, yeah, this is better one. And there's little children around and they see that this kund has all become, oh, why was Radharani washing her hands in the kund? And it became, oh, Mother Yashoda must have put haldi, must have put turmeric on her hands and she's washing her hands in the kund. And they all think like that. The little kids are thinking like that. So they run back into the village and they start chattering and telling everybody. And the news comes to Kirtida. The children are saying, oh, it seems like Mother Yashoda has made a proposal for Krishna to become your son-in-law. Kirtida immediately becomes ecstatic. This is exactly what they want. So she feels she has to reciprocate with Mother Yashoda. This is the tradition. This is how it goes. So she gets a beautiful basket. She tells Vrishabhanu Maharaj first. And then together they get a beautiful basket of costly jewels and ornaments and so on, and beautiful cloth. And then they get a very Pakka servant to carry this across to Mother Yashoda with the mood, yes, we accept your offer. And here is our gift of response. We definitely accept it. And Mother Yashoda, she's only got this thought in her mind also. So now, then she tells Nanda Baba, oh, Kirtida, she's just sent a beautiful gift here to accept our proposal of Krishna becoming the husband of Sri Radhika. So then Nanda Baba becomes ecstatic. And he's got a very beautiful gold locket that he wears on ceremonial occasions and has sapphires studded into it. So they get this in a basket, the same basket, and they put this beautiful gold locket and send it back to Vrishabhanu Maharaj as confirmation. Yes, we accept your proposal. We accept that our dear Krishna will marry Sri Radhika. So now these gifts have all been exchanged. And there's talk, because everyone's focus in Braj, as we said before, is only focused on Brajendranandan and Radharani. So now everyone is becoming very excited and very festive at the prospect of this marriage happening very soon. And then Mother Purnamasi, she comes into the village. Oh, what's all the excitement about? Why is everyone so happy? Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? Radha and Krishna are going to be married. The gifts have already been given by Kirtida and Mother Yashoda, and haldi was put on her hands. And we're so excited that this is going to happen now. So then Purnamasi said, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. We have to do their astrological chart first. So she sits down in the dust, and all the people from Varsana, they all gather around. And then she draws the first house in the dust. Oh, this is the best, most compatible couple that could be married in existence practically. The Brijvasis are cheering, so happy. Second house, third house, fourth house, goes through all the houses. Then suddenly she comes to the 12th house. Then she becomes very, very grave. And everyone is, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? She won't speak. She won't speak. Then they're pressuring, what do you see? What do you see? And finally she says, it's saying in this 12th house, although all the other houses were so compatible, but it's saying in this 12th house that if they marry, one of them must die. oh my God, this is like a dagger in the heart of everybody, because whatever Purnamasi says and proclaims is the absolute reality, the absolute truth. So they all feel utterly stunned and shocked that they know immediately this marriage can never take place now. Purnamasi has declared that one of them will die. We cannot live with either of these two personalities. So this marriage just cannot take place. So then everyone is absolutely devastated that the marriage can't take place. And then a few days later, Purnamasi declares, actually, Sri Radhika, she must marry Abhimanyu. And everyone, Abhimanyu, oh my God, that place from Jatila in Java, he always complaining, always bitter about not having enough, envious people. Why should our darling Radhika marry Abhimanyu? But Purnamasi has declared. They all know that Purnamasi is the mahant, actually, of all the events that transpire in Braj. If Purnamasi makes some proclamation, they know this has to happen. So then, a few days later, all the arrangements are made. Now we understand from this, the understanding of this pastime is to show us that it's not Krishna or Radhika that is making the arrangement for their mood in Parakiya. It is not Krishna's desire that Parakiya Ras be manifested in Braj. It's the arrangement of Yogamaya. This is Yogamaya's arrangement completely. Braj cannot exist without Parakiya Ras. Without Parakiya Ras, there's no such thing to Brajabhav, Brajaprem. It doesn't exist without Parakiya. The Parakiya must be there. So Purnamasi arranges for Abhimanyu to be married to our beloved Sri Radhika. But then our Gurudev describes, actually, in fact, in a traditional Indian marriage, there's a little boy that sits on a horse, and he's always there in the festival. And this little boy is actually Krishna directly. And when the ceremony is being taken place, Krishna sits on the lap of Abhimanyu very heavily. And when the vows are to be exchanged, and Abhimanyu is to declare, yes, I will take care of, etc., all her life, then this little boy is sitting very heavily on Abhimanyu's lap. And that little boy is speaking in response to the vows, and he's declaring, yes, I will take care of Sri Radhika. But actually, this is Krishna who is declaring like this. So in every instance, Krishna is marrying Sri Radhika. But it's covert, it's unknown to the general populace, because for Parakiya, for the excitement, to bring out the highest state and mood in the gopis when they're performing this Parakiya mood, they have so many obstacles that they have to overcome to actually meet each other. So it's this enthusiasm to overcome these myriad of obstacles that are coming that increases their own utsaha, their own enthusiasm, and it demonstrates also the absolute one-focused mood that they have to meet with Krishna. If they don't have all these obstacles to overcome, can you imagine in the paramour relationship, they have husbands and they're married to gopas. All the gopas actually ultimately are Krishna anyway. They were married during the Brahma Vimohan Leela. So they're all Krishna's ultimate wives anyway. But for the pastime's sake, this Parakiya Ras must be there to keep it very confidential in Braj itself. Only the gopis understand their relationship with Krishna. Mother Yashoda maybe sometimes has a slightest inkling for a moment, but then dismisses it fully. The Sakhas have some slight inkling, but they don't. The Priyanam Sakhas are privy to this and they understand this. Madhu Mangal, Subal, etc. They understand something of this. but the general sakhas don't really understand the extent that Krishna is consorting with the gopis. He's only 7 years old, 8 years old. So this has to be kept very confidential. So because of this pastime is how they established that Radha and Krishna would never be married, even though all the Brijvasis wanted that to take place. So this is Pili-pokhara, where Sri Radhika, she washes the haldi, the turmeric, from her hands. Now from Pili-pokhara, we walk along about 2 kilometers. Now they've made a nice road to the village of Uchagaon. And this is the traditional residence of Lalita Sakhi in Uchagaon. And this is the temple in Uchagaon of Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi is not born in Uchagaon. She's born in Kerala, in another village called Kerala. And then her parents, they move here later on, just after Radhika's birth. But as we know, Lalita Sakhi, she is so prominent in all the pastimes. Lalita Sakhi is 27 days older than Krishna. And because of that seniority by birth, she has the honor by Radha and Krishna to very often take the controlling, dominating role in their discussions, etc., because she's older. She's 27 days older than Radhika. And she has a mood called Pradalbhata, or it's Adyantika Adhika. It's Radhika is Adyantika Adhika, and Lalita is Apekshika Adhika. Apekshika means less than Adyantika. Radhika's mood is described as Adyantika Adhika, which means there's no one even close to her ability, her glories, etc. But Apekshika Adhika is Lalita, who is next to Sri Radhika. So this is her place of residence. And this is where so many sweet, sweet pastimes are performed here. Just down, actually in Lalita Kund, Lalita Mandir, we remember very often the beautiful Lalita Astakam. Radha Mukunda Pada Sambrama Garamya Bindu Nirmanshano Pakarani Kriya Devi Laksham Utunga Suridam Shesha Vashet Pagalbam Devin Guna Salalitam Lalitam Namami. This is saying her body is engaged in wiping away glistening drops of perspiration from the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Madhav. In superlative Surit Ras, she always remains independent. She's independent of both of them because she has the unique ability in different circumstances to control both of them for the sake of Ras. She lives for the union of Radha and Krishna to come together, their joy. She's submissive completely to that, but she schools Sri Radhika in the subject of Man. That is her teaching to Radhika, so that will increase the sweetness and the pleasure between Radha and Krishna. Without this Man, then Krishna has no need for service to Sri Radhika. Service is the sweetest taste. So Krishna, he appreciates when he has an opportunity to actually really try to pacify Sri Radhika's mind. This is when his service mood manifests most significantly to pacify Radhika's mind. So this is saying, I offer pranam unto audacious Lalita Devi. It appears audacious because she can control Krishna, and any time Krishna comes even to touch the veil of Sri Radhika, Lalita Devi will immediately stand between them and not allow Krishna to come close. And this all is enhancing the beauty and speciality and sweetness. The backdrop is very paka. Radhika is married to Abhimanyu. She's a respectable, chaste wife. So Lalita Devi is encouraging that mood in her, which just increases the greed in Krishna to break that mood. Yes. So these moods are increased so much by Lalita Sakhi. She has so much prominence in all the pastimes in bringing the divine couple to a higher pitch of sweetness and speciality and ecstasy. So Lalita Devi, we honor deeply and greatly. And it's saying, I offer, who is the repository of beauty, sweetness, gravity, and various other charming qualities. Lalita Sakhi has such an abundance of special, when we read that Radha Ganadesh Deepika, we see the special artistry described of Lalita Sakhi. She makes 5 types of different earrings. She makes beautiful, the most beautiful garlands. She makes belts, amulets, etc., ankle belts. So many things are made by, and Lalita Sakhi, she will instruct all the other Sakhis. We see even in Jaivadharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is immediately in the first chapter referencing Lalita Sakhi when he's indicating to silence the monkey Kakati, because Ananga Manjari is indicating, because Lalita Sakhi will become disturbed. So Lalita Sakhi has such a controlling mood amongst the Sakhis and amongst, even between Radha and Krishna. Very, very special, intensely sweet, active pastimes that Lalita Devi performs. But now, for time's sake, we have to come down from this mountain, from this hill, the temple, and we come to Dehakund. And in Dehakund, very beautiful Kund, the same pastime that our dear Sripad Suddhadvati Maharaj described in Dana-garha, where this is Dehakund, where a Brahmana approaches Krishna and requests Krishna to help him get his daughter married. Actually, this story goes on in almost every Brijvasi's house. If you start to speak to any of the locals, they'll bring out their sad violin story. Oh, I have 3 daughters. I don't know how to get them married. They spend their whole lifetime struggling to make money just so that they can get their daughters married. So this is a very common occurrence. And now all of a sudden, Krishna, he's offering the Brahman Shri Radhika, which is its only wealth, which is, we've just heard this pastime described. And then in this Dehakund, Krishna, he agrees to put Radhika on a scale, and he mounts up gold on the other side of the scale. And the Brahmana, he takes that gold in to get his own daughter married. So the Brahmana becomes pacified in this Kund. So this is Dehakund. And we would come here regularly with my Gurudev, and we would regularly take prasadam in this Kund, Dehakund. It's a very beautiful, silent, sweet Kund here. Very beautiful deities are in this Kund. Now, just around the corner from this Kund, yes, these are the beautiful deities here in this Kund. Very, very attractive deities. From this Kund, if you can open the picture, but from here, then we go across a little causeway, across a canal, and we come to Sakhigiri-parvata, which is where many footprints are there on the side of the mountain here. Yes, so many footprints are here. We would come with, my Gurudev would become so enthusiastic. He would almost become like a child running around looking, do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see? He would be immersed. We would see him immersed in searching for all these beautiful footprints in this rock face. But then just close by is a very small little shrine. Yes, Altapari, where, yes, this Altapari, we see the altar, the red altar is coming out of the rocks practically, it seems to be coming. And this is where one time Lalita Sakhi was sitting there with Krishna, and all the Sakhis were there. And then secretly, Radhika and the other Sakhis, they tied the pitamba and veil of Lalita Sakhi together very tightly. And then Chitra Sakhi, she began to sing wedding songs. And then Tungavidya began reciting wedding mantras. And all of a sudden, Lalita Sakhi is thinking, oh, there's something going on here. So she jumps up and tries to get away, but she can't because she's tied. And then there's a beautiful marriage ceremony. So Lalita and Krishna become married at this point. And the dot, the vermilion in the forehead is taken from the rock there. So this is also a slide. It's a slide for the Sakis to play on. Many, many pastimes in this particular area. It's very, very beautiful. It's loaded with different descriptions of their pastimes. And then just beyond here is a beautiful forest of Kadamba, because from Varsana, you can cut across directly to Kamyavan. There's a road across to Kamyavan, but it's a very rough road. You can only really go on a tractor or a motorbike across, but in the middle, there's a beautiful Kadamba Kanan, beautiful forest of very tall Kadamba trees today. It's very beautiful. And close by also in Uchagaon is the Samadhi of Narayan Bhatta Acharya and his Gufa. Narayan Bhatta Acharya is that personality who came in the 16th century. He came here and he wrote many pastimes about Krishna very beautifully in one very comprehensive book that he published here. And it describes, I've said this before, something like 60,000 pastimes are described by Narayan Bhatta Acharya. And he's very much respected in the whole area. Actually, all the pandas in Sriji, they all have their line coming back to Narayan Bhatta Acharya, who was an Acharya. But his Gufa is here. And if we're fortunate enough, there's a gate, and if there's a pujari there, he'll open the gate and take us down under the ground. And there's a huge room under the ground, which of course in winter is very warm and in summer is very cool. And this is where Narayan Bhatta Acharya, he stayed in that place. No, not his samadhi. Oh, on top, yes. On top is his samadhi. Yes, correct. Huh? And then we go from there to the Dauji temple, which is very close by and has the place of Madhusudan there. Madhusudan Baba. That's Babaji. And there's a very beautiful form of Dauji there. And yes. Oh, and in this place, this is a very famous place for us in our Sangha, because this is the very place where we had during our Parikrama one time, there was a platform erected and my Gurudev was there. And he was debating with the local Babas. All the Babas of Braj like to think that Radha and Krishna were married. They regularly think like this. But I've already described that pastime of Pili-pokhara. And my Gurudev, he described so beautifully that actually the essence of Braja Prem is Parakiya Ras, is Parakiya Bhav. They have to have this enthusiasm to meet. So my Gurudev defeated all these Babajis very, very beautifully in a beautiful exchange. There must have been 5 or 7 of these Babajis. And my Gurudev was there debating with them. And we were all a crowd, a large Parikrama party, perhaps almost 1,000 people. We were sitting observing this debate. And my Gurudev at the end very beautifully purified those misconceptions of the Babajis directly. And they all agreed with my Gurudev. He gave so much praman to substantiate that Radha and Krishna were never married in this way that they were liking to describe. And as a result of this, they declared him to be the Yuga Acharya, my Gurudev to be the Yuga Acharya. And they gave him a beautiful cloth and garlands, etc. And they officially made a document proclaiming that Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj is the Yuga Acharya. And it was a very great honor for him to receive that from the senior Babajis of Varsana. So he received that at this place of Dauji Mandir. So we remember this pastime with great happiness. And now we have very little time left, which usually what happens on this particular day. We're going to go rushing back via Surya-kunda or Surya Mandir. This Surya-kunda where we heard, I described right at the very beginning today, how Vrishabhanu Maharaj feels that he's coming from the sun god. They worship the sun god. And Sri Radhika has this desire daily to worship Surya Dev. And Jyotila and Kotila, they're always encouraging her to do her Surya Puja to increase their material wealth. If you worship Surya Dev, he will give you all health benedictions, and he can give you wealth benedictions. This is the benediction from Surya Dev. So Sri Radhika would come here daily, and we hear the wonderful pastime how Krishna, he would walk right into the assembly of Jyotila, and Kotila would be there, sometimes assisting, making sure that Radhika was performing her puja properly. But Krishna would disguise himself as a Brahman, and Madhu Mangal would be his assistant. But we should understand each time, like Sripad Ashrama Maharaj has described, when Krishna gets disguised, he gets disguised by Vrindadevi, or he gets disguised by Purnamas. So he actually looks like that person completely. You can't tell who it is. So Krishna, he gets disguised as a Brahman boy, and Madhu Mangal, his assistant, and he comes to Surya-kunda. And in Surya-kunda, Jatila, she's looking for a qualified Brahman to lead the puja. And then Krishna shows up, and he's got all his paraphernalia, etc. And then immediately, Jyotila, she engages him. Krishna starts to chant many funny mantras. And the Sakhis, who are so versed in these mantras, because they're all so knowledgeable, they understand immediately, oh my God, this is Krishna himself, disguised as a Brahmana. And Jyotila is completely overwhelmed with respect and awe for this Brahmana who seems to know so many mantras, etc. So Krishna, he's performing this Surya Puja for his most beloved Sri Radhika. And at the end of the puja, everyone feels very successful, and the gopis are giggling the whole time because they know exactly what is happening. But Jyotila is completely ignorant of the reality. And then Jyotila, she wants to give a gift. She takes some rings off Sri Radhika's fingers and wants to give them to the Brahman boy. But the Brahman boy says, no, no, I don't accept anything. But his assistant, Madhu Mangal, he will accept. And then Lalita Sakhi, she offers a whole basket of ladus in reciprocation for the puja. And Madhu Mangal, he happily takes those ladus and puts them in his cloth. The Brahman boy, he doesn't take anything. And then together they leave. So this is how sometimes Krishna is meeting with Radhika in separate. This is like a mood of separation, even though they're meeting, because they cannot have any direct contact with each other. And their superior, Jyotila, is there. But they're just really taking the, we say in English, taking the mickey out of Jyotila. She's completely made a fool of by all the Sakhis for Krishna's brilliance in acting out the Brahman's role. But here in Surya-kunda today, previous to my Guru, there's a beautiful temple built, a Gaudiya temple. It wasn't there previously, but now it's very beautifully built. And there's a beautiful deity, Tapoji, of Surya-dev. Yes, this is Surya-dev who's here. And he's worshipped regularly by the local people. And many people will go to Surya-kunda today on their pilgrimage to remember this pastime that I've just described, and can be spoken so much more elaborately. But I'm looking at the clock all the time. But this beautiful deity of Surya-dev is worshipped here. Huh? Who? Jagannath Das Babaji, he performed his bhajan here. Jagannath Das Babaji, he performed his bhajan in Surya-kunda, a most confidential and famous place in Braj, very close to Radha-kunda. It's only actually now we've come back from Varsana, and we're about 4.5 kilometers from Radha-kunda here. But now we can jump back on our buses and quickly go back to our Giridhari Gaudiya. So this is the pastimes of Varsana. There are so many more pastimes, but we've spent 2 hours here describing some of them, touched the very tip of the iceberg. But gradually over the years we've come to appreciate more and more. So Surya-dev ki jai, Surya-kunda ki jai, Pili-pokhara ki jai, Uchagaon ki jai, Sankiri-parvata ki jai, Sakhigiri-parvata ki jai, Gahvaravana ki jai, Vilasa-garha ki jai, Managarha ki jai, Mor-kuti ki jai, Varsana ki jai, Gold Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo, Vanshaka Durusha, Sripad Sindhuvelucha, Atitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.
My dear friend, go back to your buses, don't delay.
Yes. Quickly into the buses. Don't delay. Thank you, Jonathan.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. That was so beautiful. I don't want to get back into the bus, but unfortunately, the clock is ticking. And you were saying that we have little drops of nectar, but throughout the last 27 days, we've had drops and drops and buckets of nectar, especially for people far away like myself. It's been absolutely wonderful. So thank you. Thank you to all the Maharajas that spoke today. Really, really loved the association and the nectar. Thank you, Maharaj. We will now have some kirtan by Damayanti Didi. Didi, are you able to unmute? There we go. Thank you, Didi.
Dandavat pranams. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhika Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Iti Namane Nama Om Vishnupadaya Shri Guru Prishtaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Madhava Iti Namane Gurave Guru Chandraya Radhika Tadale Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. I'm going to sing A.C. Kripa Koro Shri Radhe. It's not in the songbook, but it's in KK songs. Would you like me to paste the lyrics?
Yes, Didi, if you can.
Okay. Can you see? Can you see it? I think I've exceeded the number of words. Hang on.
Yes, we see it, Didi.
Is there? Okay. Dandavat pranams, Tridandi Maharaj, Vaikhanas Maharaj, Suddhadvati Maharaj, and Ashrama Maharaj. Dandavat pranams. I'm going to try to play the harmonium, but if it interferes, let me know and I'll stop the harmonium. A.C. Kripa Karo Shri Radhe Diyo Vrindavana Kovas A.C. Kripa Karo Shri Radhe Diyo Vrindavana Kovas A.C. Kripa Karo Shri Radhe Diyo Vrindavana Kovas Vrindavana Kovas Diyo Hari Bhakatana Kosad Vrindavana Kovas Diyo Hari Bhakatana Kosad A.C. Kripa Karo Shri Radhe Diyo Vrindavana Kovas Bhukalage Bhiksha Karalao Bhukalage Bhiksha Karalao Rajavasina Ke Tu Karapao Rajavasina Ke Tu Karapao Pyasa lagi yamuna jala pike niduvana karunivas. Pyasa lagi yamuna jala pike niduvana karunivas. Esi kripa karo shirade diyo vrindavana govas. Govardhana Parikrama lagao, Govardhana Parikrama lagao, Manasa Ganga prem se nahao, Manasa Ganga prem se nahao, Radha Kunda Ra Krishna Kunda me nitya karu sna. Radha Kunda Ra Krishna Kunda me nitya karusnan. Esi kripa karo shirade diyo vrindavana kovas. Esi kripa karo shirade diyo vrindavana kovas. Nanda-garha jao, Nanda-garha jao, Radhe ji ke darshan pao, Radhe ji ke darshan pao, Gahvaravana parikrama lagao, Gahvaravana parikrama lagao, Dana-kuti aur Mana-kuti bede kura savilas. Dana-kuti aur Mana-kuti bede kura savilas. Esi kripa karo shirade diyo vrindavana govas. Esi kripa karo shirade diyo vrindavana govas. Nanda Baba ke dware jao, Nanda Baba ke dware jao, Dao Baiya ke darshan pao, Dao Baiya ke darshan pao, Pavana sarovar prem se nahao, Pavana sarovar prem se nahao, Banke Bihari ke darshan pai ke hai jai purana aas. Banke Bihari ke darshan pai ke hai jai purana aas. Esi kripa karo shirade diyo vrindavana govas. Esi kripa karo shirade diyo vrindavana govas. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Radhe Hey, Radhe Hey, Radhe Hey, Radhe Krishna Hey, Krishna Hey, Krishna Hey, Krishna Hey. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vrindavanadam, Jaya Vrindavanadam, Vrindavanadam, Jaya Vrindavanadam, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo. Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Didi. That was beautiful. So we've come to the end of our program today. And I just want to thank everyone for joining and thank you to all our dear speakers. That's the end of our program. We'll see you all tomorrow for day 28.